What's going on? It's so good to be talking with you all. Just here to talk just a little bit about our passage in scripture we're looking at today, in our first kind of like spiritual development thing, looking at the Bible. How do we explain it to young people? And our first passage is Zephaniah 1:1-7. And in this passage, God seems really, really harsh. You're going to look and say, wow, that is one upset, angry fella and God. But when you look at it, what this passage I think really shows us is a God and what God is primarily concerned about, and that is his own passion, his own glory, and people glorifying his name. Because when Zephaniah takes place is right around the time when the nation of Babylon comes in and sweeps out the nation of Judah. Right around that time, might be a little before, might be a little after, might be recounting the fact after. But what Zephaniah is talking about is he receives a word from God in a dream, sometimes a direct message, sometimes a vision. He receives a word from God. And God's telling Zephaniah, I want you to communicate to the people of Judah that they're living life in such a way where other things are more important. They're living life in such a way when they want to bow down before Baal and other idols and spend time not worshiping me and doing something else. And God's pretty angry here. And that's something that we have to look at in our own lives. If God is pretty much the same, now granted we do believe that God's heart can move through prayer, supplication, our pleas. We do believe that. But God's view of his own glory and his own honor, I'm pretty sure haven't really changed a whole lot. That throughout history, God's saying, I'm concerned with the way people view me, the way they honor me, the way they glorify me. I'm concerned about my own glory. And quite frankly, he's allowed to do that because he's God. That's a pretty powerful message for us to consider. And that's just something, as we continue in our journey together in ministry, we have to keep asking ourselves the question, is this going to glorify God, or is this going to lift ourselves up, going to lift our church up, our ministry up? Because at the core and the heart, God doesn't say I'm going to lift the church up. God doesn't say I'm going to lift individual leaders or pastors or deacons or trustees up. God doesn't say that. It's not what Scripture tells us, especially not what it tells us here. God says I'm going to lift me up. And that's something we really, really want to look at. That's something we want our young people to adapt. And that's about a lot of what prophecy is about, a lot of the Old Testament prophecy. If you understand this, that the nation of Israel said and acted in such a way where they lifted other things up, Baal, lifted up gods such as Asherah and various other gods, they lifted all those up. And that got them into a lot of trouble. We don't necessarily have those today. We don't have Baal, Asherah. We have the God of success, the God of popularity, the God of trying to get ahead and money. We have all those gods today. It's a very convicting message, and I hope Zephaniah 1:1-7 causes us to look at our own lives and see, hey, are we living this out? Or are we similar to the nation of Judah? Until next time, take care.